Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. I've been a user of Uphold since 2017. They're one of my go-to exchanges. They have tons of crypto, over 250 plus cryptocurrencies. They're available in 150 countries, and they have more than 10 million users. So a lot of people trust this platform. And once again, I've been a user for years, so I can vouch for it. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the links in the description. Well, folks, we got some big news from Coinbase. And of course, Coinbase is the largest exchange in the United States. It is publicly traded. In full disclosure, I own some Coinbase stock, and they are currently in the midst of a battle with the SEC. Of course, they got a Wells notice from the SEC. They are also suing the SEC. So they've got a lot on their plate. But, I've often stated that crypto is a global asset class. It is not exclusive to the United States. And despite all the headwinds and nonsense we're dealing with here in the United States with clown regulator Gary Gensler and others, companies are expanding their footprint globally. So Coinbase, they launched Coinbase International Exchange, and this will begin offering Bitcoin and Ethereum perpetual futures settled in the USDC stablecoin with up to 5x leverage to institutional clients in eligible jurisdictions outside of the United States. So this is really big, guys. This is really good for Coinbase expanding globally. They said, as a global company, we're working hard to help update the financial system by building trusted products that expand the utility and adoption of crypto, because we believe crypto and blockchain technology have the ability to increase economic freedom and opportunity around the world. This is big news, folks. And once again, it's a big FU to the corrupt clown regulator, Gary Gensler. So despite what the SEC is doing, these companies are once again expanding their global footprint because crypto is bigger than the United States. And we see other countries and jurisdictions are opening their doors and greenlighting crypto companies. You see Hong Kong, you see the EU and Singapore, Japan, many jurisdictions are opening up to allow this technology and innovation to come in, which will help grow their economy, contribute to GDP and job growth and so forth. So big news. And once again, they're using the USDC stablecoin. So Circle, which is, of course, the creator of this USDC stablecoin, their CEO, Jeremy Allaire, tweeted out, very excited to see Coinbase International Exchange launch. Highly competitive, excellent execution, and product quality. And USDC as the sole native digital dollar used for funding, collateral, and trading. So this is big. And of course, a huge partnership, right? So getting USDC's footprint spread across the globe. And this platform right now, as Coinbase stated, is primarily for institutional investors. So a lot of capital is going to be coming in from different parts of the world. Now, we got some big news around XRP. Many of you know I hold XRP in my portfolio, in addition to other assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth. And Ripple's partner, Tranglo, which is a payments processor, they tweeted out today different fintech news and updates. So number one was Ripple ODL in India. So ODL stands for on-demand liquidity, which uses XRP. They said the payment solution offers optimized liquidity for cross-border payments, including complex corridors like Brazil, Mexico, and India, and Southeast Asia, using XRP as a neutral bridge for various fiat currency pairs. So that's great news, more adoption from different countries. And that's what XRP was created for, to be that neutral bridge asset to improve cross-border payments. And we see that despite what the corrupt clown regulator that Gary Gensler and the SEC are doing in suing Ripple, Ripple's still expanding. Their global footprint is expanding. They're getting more payments companies in different countries to adopt their technology. Once again, crypto is larger than the United States. And wake up, United States government and regulators, wake up, Congress, get your act together and stop the scumbag regulator, Gary Gensler, and the corrupt Elizabeth Warren as well, those who are trying to stifle this technology. But the great thing, they can't stop it, folks. Like we've seen with the electricity, light bulb, the automobile, the internet, and many different disruptive technologies. They won't be able to stop it. They'll fight it. They may be able to slow it down in the short term. Long term, it will outlast them. Crypto and blockchain tech will be here long after we're gone. And of course, long after Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren are gone. Now, we got some interesting news coming out of Florida, and this is not a political show, of course, but we often talk about important news items as it relates to what different people in politics are saying, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. So Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he was giving a speech today, and he vows to ban CBDCs in the state and says the government doesn't like crypto because it can't be controlled. It's very fascinating that he's coming out with this strong stance. Now, we know Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is very bullish on crypto. The state is forward-leaning when it comes to technology and attracting tech companies and crypto companies. But, you know, he's saying he's going to ban CBDCs. I don't think that's possible, especially if it comes from a federal level, but we'll see. You know, I've been on record. I think CBDCs are bullish for the crypto market. However, I am very concerned about the privacy issue and how the government will be using that power. And it's not even, I don't want to say technology, but rather power, because they can do all kinds of crazy stuff with your money if you're on that system, right? With social credit scores and expiration dates on that money and all kinds of tracking and everything you do. I don't like that because I believe in the U.S. Constitution, the right to privacy, and the government not having complete, absolute control, right? There needs to be a balance. And the government itself was set up to have checks and balances. So this is this power needs to be limited. So he also, I love what he said that, you know, the government itself, I think talking about the federal government, doesn't like crypto because it can't be controlled. So it's really great that he's coming out and making these statements and taking these stances, because it helps, you know, break the narrative down of corrupt Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler and these folks, right, who are running around trying to form a narrative. So it's great. I'm in approval of Ron DeSantis saying these things, but just giving my take on the CBDCs. I don't think he'll be able to ban CBDCs, but we'll see what happens. Now, here's an example of crypto adoption happening in every aspect of life. The world's richest man, Bernard Arnault, owns NFTs. Arnault has exhibited a tepid attitude toward the technology in the past, despite his sons showing considerably greater interest. So this is fascinating. He owns 75 luxury brands, including Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, and Tag Heuer, a luxury super yacht named Symphony, his own private island in the Bahamas, and uncharacteristically, a collection of NFTs. Turns out the world's richest man, Bernard Arnault, has his own little nest egg of digital collectibles, despite past comments that seem to slow or show hesitancy towards or regarding the technology. In a conversation with his former advisor and chief digital officer of LVMH, Ian Rogers, the chair and CEO of the conglomerate of luxury brands, revealed his own NFT collection. Arnault was reportedly exhibited a tepid attitude toward the technology in this past, despite his sons showing considerably greater interest. Alexander Arnault once touted a jewel-laden CryptoPunk Tiffany pendant, and brother Frederick Arnault, CEO of Tag Heuer, showed off his enthusiasm for Web3 tech with NFT display functionality on the luxury watch brand. Arnault Sr. has remained relatively quiet on the topic, but in recent RT and Sriam podcast, Rogers, who has once become the chief experience officer at Ledger and is working on the soon-to-be-released Ledger Stacks wallet, confides to the host that his certainty about Arnault's digital collection. So funny that his sons, they get it, right? They're younger, and that's usually the case. They're going to be early adopters of new tech, while the older folks, and I'm not an ageist, but just in general, they will be hesitant because it's disruptive to the way that they know. But it looks like he's coming around here, right? He has some NFTs, and remember, those NFTs, they're not just JPEGs or images; they're minted on the blockchain. And while he may not own crypto tokens specifically, like he may not own Ether, XRP, or Bitcoin, or Matic, or whatever, he's supporting the tokens by owning the NFTs, which are minted on the blockchains, right? Because the NFTs give utility, and the more building that's happening on a blockchain, it increases the value of said blockchain and network. And of course, the native token benefits. So I love to see these passive adoption of folks who are skeptics, or, they don't like it, but they passively are adopting it and supporting it, even if they don't own the tokens themselves. But okay, he owns some NFTs. Okay, once again, those NFTs are on the blockchain, and the native tokens are going to benefit from that. So interesting story here. Now, Virtune lists crypto ETP tracking top 10 crypto assets. The product will be listed on the Nasdaq Stockholm exchange and will be available to retail and institutional investors alike. Let me repeat that. The product will be listed on a startup exchange, on a new crypto exchange? No. The Nasdaq Stockholm exchange. You all know who the Nasdaq is, right? And remember, Nasdaq is about to launch their crypto custody program or service pretty soon. It'll be the end of Q2. Folks, banks, stock exchanges, and the largest financial institutions are here. Don't be distracted by FUD. If you're still on the fence, you got to pay attention to the facts here, not the headlines, but just go read up and study what these big companies are doing. So registered financial institution Virtune said Tuesday that it has launched a multi-asset crypto exchange traded product on the Nasdaq Stockholm Stock Exchange in collaboration with crypto index provider Vinter. The ETP tracks the Virtune Vinter Crypto Top 10 Index. Ooh, that's a mouthful, which contains the 10 largest crypto tokens by market cap. That includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, each of which are weighted at the maximum 40% as of May 2023. Polkadot, Litecoin, and Chainlink round out the top 5 with weights of 5%, 5%, and 3% respectively, according to the index methodology. Folks, you see what's happening here? If crypto was a fad, if it was a pump and dump, a Ponzi scheme, why are stock exchanges listing indexes and creating indexes and offering trading services and custody and so forth? They know this tech is here to stay. We are in the early days. There's a lot of speculation, just like there was in the dot-com boom in the early 90s. But eventually, coming out of this will be your Amazons, your Googles, your eBays, your PayPals, and so on and so forth, right? We're still very early, and the on and off ramps, the infrastructure is being built right now for mass adoption for the next few billion people to come on board. So don't miss what's happening. It may not happen at the pace that we want to, but slowly and surely it is happening, folks, around the globe. And what's different about this asset class versus any asset class in the history of the world is that you have everything on the blockchain. It's verifiable. You can know the maximum amount of tokens, if more can be minted, or if there's a hard cap. So there's a scarcity aspect, not to mention what transactions are happening on the blockchain, who are the validators and the people, how many are there. And you just have so much more insights, right? Versus, hey, I own some gold, but I don't know how much gold the Federal Reserve has in their vault. I can't go see that. But if I look into a blockchain's metrics, I can see a lot more. And of course, there are no gatekeepers. You don't have to be an accredited investor. You can go buy literally $5 of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, whatever it may be, and you're part of the asset class, just like a millionaire or a billionaire. And real time, you can view all these metrics, and you could be in any part of the world. Never been anything like that before. Now, here's some very interesting news. DeFi on Bitcoin, Trustless Computer says yes. Developers can build decentralized apps on Bitcoin using Solidity smart contracts. So, one of the big problems that Bitcoin faces is that it has slow transaction speed, high costs, and so forth. That's why I think people are shifting towards it's more of digital gold. You don't use gold to transact every day, but you use gold as a hedge. And that is itself a huge use case, right? Because that's hard money. And that's not going away, especially in a world of fiat currency when you have massive inflation. And we've seen that throughout history. But the problem is with Bitcoin is that how can it scale? How can it offer different services and utility such as smart contracts, right? This is why Ethereum came along and did so well. It was the first mover in offering smart contracts. So Trustless Computer has recently deployed Uniswap version 2 smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain. Although considered one of the most secure blockchains, Bitcoin has always had limited inbuilt utility features. This changed after the Taproot upgrade in 2021, where it became possible to embed almost unlimited data on the Bitcoin blockchain using opcodes. Trustless Computer, which is still in an early developmental phase, hopes to use this new data storing method to develop a Turing-complete virtual machine on top of Bitcoin. This would mean that developers could build decentralized applications such as exchanges, NFTs, and trading and lending protocols on Bitcoin itself. Developers can also develop their own tokens on Bitcoin called BRC20 tokens, not to be confused with the almost identical named Ordinals BRC20 tokens. So this is fascinating, and I hope it's successful. But the problem is it's going to slow down the Bitcoin network, right? That is the big thing. It's going to slow down an already slow network. And once again, I'm not looking to use Bitcoin every day. And there's folks working in the Lightning Network, but I'm using Bitcoin as a hedge, as digital gold. So to provide additional value and utility to these tokens, Trustless Computer has deployed Uniswap version 2 smart contracts on Bitcoin, aiming to give its users the ability to swap BRC20 tokens and provide liquidity into the space. A Twitter user who goes by Punk3700 told Blockworks that Trustless Computer is still super early, feels like Uniswap in 2018, but it's fun. So we'll have to wait and see, right? I hope they're successful. I don't wish bad on anybody or whatever it may be, but I do recognize the strengths and weaknesses of Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin maxis are going to hear this and go nuts, right? Because many of them view it as a religion. I'm not here for religion. I am here to make money, and I'm also passionate about the technology, and I want to see it adopted in the world. But in order to be adopted in the real life and in the world, not just in the Bitcoin circles or Bitcoin conference or Bitcoin Twitter, right? Not in our own bubble, but in the rest of the world, we need to have the ability to provide proper utility, fast transaction speeds, low cost, and obviously smart contracts and all these things. So I need to see it. So I will always keep it real with you guys, right? The pros and cons, you got to look at the pros and cons of every token. Now, finally, Binance CEO CZ, he tweeted out some interesting news about Binance. He said, last week, Binance responded to the UK HM Treasury's consultation on the future financial services regulatory regime for crypto assets. Always good to see policymakers openly seek input and suggestions. Quick thread about our response. Effective regulatory frameworks must ensure financial stability and consumer protection and act as a catalyst for innovation. Based on this, some key points from our responses below. First, we believe that same risk, same regulatory outcome is the right approach to regulating emerging technologies. It solves for the desired outcome rather than applying generic rules, capturing the intricacies of novel innovations and their unique benefits/risk. Two, in general, regulations should deliver against policy objectives while accounting for industry nuances. Not easy, not necessary, and something Binance is happy to help with. Three, a clear definition of DeFi is needed for both effective regulation and innovation. Four, listings/delistings should be handled by exchanges, and exchanges should be held responsible for providing the correct information to consumers based on clear disclosure rules and performing sufficient due diligence. Number five, we support introducing a crypto market abuse regime to mitigate the risk and challenges specific to crypto. The introduction of formal regulatory admission practices alongside greater market surveillance and regulation in general will help to reduce bad actors. So this is great. Binance has to weigh in on these things, and they have to comply with these things because they're the largest exchange in the world. And they've, of course, had a little bit of a bad reputation because maybe in their infancy stages, they didn't do things correct. I don't think CZ is a bad guy. There are people who try to paint him that way. I've interviewed the man 2 times. I don't know him personally, but from what I've seen, he's trying to just build a business And I believe there was a wild west day or time in crypto, and everybody has to get in line now with regulations as the industry matures. So great to see Binance weighing in, working with different governments. That's so important for the future of this market, once again, because they are the biggest exchange in the world. There are people who want to see them to fail, and it's easy to fail. I don't want to see that. I want to see everybody be successful, and there's a free market, and there's proper regulations that are balanced. They protect investors, they stop bad actors, and they allow innovation. They don't stifle it, like what scumbag regulator Gary Gensler is doing here in the United States. So that's the news, my friends. Really good news overall. I love that Coinbase is expanding in the face of what the SEC has been trying to do. Same thing with Ripple and their partners going to other markets. So really great news. Once again, we'd love to hear what you guys think. Please share the podcast and the video with your friends and family. Please, once again, leave ratings, reviews, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later.